Good morning, class. Now, a new generation has came through here, and you're seeing them before you right now. So, anyways, this is my project on my cultural artifact for my speech class, and here you go. So, a new way, a new age of individuals have been born into the American society. They carry both the hardworking ethics of the Mexican people along with the limitless possibilities of the American way of life. You know, these two cultures together are what mixture is what we call Chicanos. Now, this is a self-proclaimed word that we individually made for ourselves, since it kind of helped to identify us as a person. But anyways, I want to go ahead and just let you know that being a Chicano, you adopted both cultural artifacts, traditions, and even food from both sides of the border, America and the United States, along with Mexico. So, I want to go ahead and express a little bit of that to you guys. Good hint of that would be hot dogs, fries, burgers, along with burritos, carne asada, and tacos. So you know, sometimes we even see each other, adopt these traditions into our own. So, for instance, the piñata, something that even American society today has went ahead and incorporated into their celebrations. So, let's go ahead and check up a little bit more because I want to go ahead and talk about some artifact that personally drew my attention, which personally I would have to say was a artifact from the Mexican people called the rosary. Now, the rosary is very very important piece of Mexican culture as it is practiced, and majority of the people in New Mexico is definitely Mexican. Well, of course Mexican, but they are Catholic. So you're actually pretty rare to find somebody who's not Catholic in Mexico. So not only do they worship Catholicism, but they also incorporate it into their daily lives. So it's a very very big impact on them. Now, the rosary is a very important part of my Mexican heritage because general population are all Catholic. It's a big part of the life, and they practice and festive alongside of the church. They also enjoy praying the rosary. Now, it is said that it brings forth a powerful prayer to God through the Mother of Christ, and it can symbolize hope and courage with prayer. Now, today I will inform you of the background history of the Rosary incorporated with the Catholic Church, along with the impact of the Rosary has personally made in my life and what it means to me personally, along with purpose and exercise practice with the Rosary by the Catholic Church. Now, the Rosary is a string of beads meant to exercise religious prayers cherished by the Catholic Church and also brings praise and devotion to the Virgin Mary. Now, which commonly is prayed spiritual time, which commonly is prayed during spiritual times, despair, fear, and even death send-offs. Um, Now, just wanted to know, the rosary is known to be worn around one's neck like jewelry, but also carried on the palm of people's hand, pray together. I know you guys seen that picture of like the hand with the rosary still on it. So it's probably one of the things that you could definitely identify it as, you know, and people usually pray Our Father, Hail Mary, Glory be Thy name, for each of the specific prayer which is reflected on here. Each bead will symbolize one time of praying that same prayer, going off to the next until you finally hit towards the beginning where you started from. Although I mainly carry the rosary around to feel protected by God, the rosary is generally practiced by religious followers as a form of deep prayer, a way of cleansing all sins that's been committed in the past by confessing personally with a Catholic priest in a private room. Now, personally, my mother made sure to incorporate and express the importance of religious sacred treasure, in which I applied as hopeful connection to God growing up in the rough streets in Los Angeles, California. Now, during the early 90s, when rise influences of gangster rap, and lifestyle, and thug lifestyle was incorporated, this definitely influenced violence, drugs, poverty, and police brutality around the streets and neighborhoods where I grew up in. Now, the Rosary served as a small token of hope and faith, walking down the dangerous streets filled with crime and gangs. Now, throughout the throughout actually on my school days, throughout middle school and most of high school, I used it as an object of faith and courage to survive. Now, to survive my own personal way to pray to God. It was my way of connecting to God. It was my way to go ahead and see if I could, get something going as far as courage, because going up like that really, really makes you lose hope at times. You know, so I used I used it as an object of faith. The rosary served as a small token of hope and faith. Walking down those dangerous streets filled with crime and gangs throughout middle school and high school, I used it as an object of faith and courage to survive my own personal way of praying to God, and to give me strength, keep me safe when things got rough. In addition, today I would like to go ahead and reveal that and describe the informative description of the rosary necklace that impacted the majority of Mexicans, natives who which worship the Catholic religion and pray the variety of special prayers directed to God through the mother that gave birth to the Son of God, the Virgin Mary. Now, also I explained the impact I shared with the cultural artifact and the way I changed faith and courage throughout the rosary, and comfort myself to believe God protected me. Also, I described the specific practices and prayers that the Catholic Church recites upon their special prayer time, which which is the main sole purpose of the rosary, and and I also described the rosary along with that. So my final standoff for you guys is I would just like to incorporate that throughout our lives we experience hardships and sorrows that pain our spirits and can make us feel fearful, helpless, sorrow, hopeless. Throughout our lives, throughout our lives, no, throughout our lives, we have experienced hardships and sorrows that pains our spirits and can make us feel fearful, helpless, sorrows, hopeless, lonely, or empty, way inside. And we seek comfort in noble objects or cultural artifacts because of what they represent. And sometimes it can be as noble, it can be a noble artifact like the rosary. During dark times and despair, they can provide inner hope and courage to our lives when we really need it. And remember, it can serve to grow our confidence within ourselves. So, I hope that you guys enjoyed this little briefing that I had of the rosary, and you guys have yourself a great day.